Hello again, everyone. This is Dr. Stan Gross, and today we're going to talk about Cape Aloe Cleanse formula. It's our safe road to regularity. Yeah, it's a laxative, but in a very special way, and we're going to cover that, okay? So why do we need to cleanse the bowel? Is there a reason? Yeah, big reason. And what makes our Cape Aloe Cleanse special, and who can benefit from it? Let's talk about that. Everyone on the planet suffers irregularity once in a while. And it's far more complicated than just a clog. What we're talking about here is typically the difference between how much fluid is being introduced into the bowel to move things along, and actually how much fiber, all these different things, and how much movement. I'm not talking about bowel movement here. I'm talking about body movement. Because sometimes the more you move, the more your bowels move. Interesting, huh? So I love the slide. And it's true. I've had patients come in to see me that tell me, oh, I'm regular. My doctor says once every 3 weeks is normal. No, it's not. No, that's not regular at all. And in fact, you're toxic. There's a thing called autointoxication where the waste that's in your body gets reabsorbed into the bloodstream. No, no. So the journey of our food, is a 24-hour journey from the point it enters your mouth to the time it exits. So if you're not going, like twice a day fairly substantially, you're likely a little constipated. It's not regular. So what are some of the things that can cause constipation? Well, low water. See, I told you about that hydration issue. If you're not drinking enough water, then your intestines don't have enough water to move things along. Sedentary lifestyle. If you don't move, neither do your bowels. Controlling the urge. Nurses, doctors are real big on this, truck drivers, waitresses, I gotta go, but I gotta work. I can't take a potty break. Students now, they raise their hand, say they have to go to the bathroom, they're told, hold it. No, it's not a good idea. Refined carbohydrates, refined foods. Overuse of laxatives. Now, isn't that interesting? Because your body gets used to it, right? So to get the results you want, you have to take more of the chemical laxatives to get things done. That's not a good thing. Changes in life. We say aging, but that isn't necessarily a good excuse. And I have more people who are younger who have bowel problems, constipation problems. So too much dairy products. Well, too much products that don't have what? That don't have enough fiber. Too much alcohol and too much caffeine. Caffeine can actually stimulate the bowel, but if you're taking in too much, it shuts things down. Same thing with alcohol. Physical and mental stress. Well, stress, if it increases your fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system, well, that shuts down your parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the one that says, hey, let's go to the bathroom. And then let's go eat again. Physical stress shuts that down. Parasites. Parasites, because not only are they slowing the process and taking up the fluid and eating some of your waste and depriving you of nutrients, they're embedding themselves into the amylase and causing other health issues. We'll address parasites later if that's okay with you. Health conditions, if you're taking opiates, for instance, for pain, chronic pain sufferers, and that goes over to the medication list. And there are other health conditions like inflammatory conditions in particular can slow the bowel down. So there's lots of reasons why you can be constipated. There's some foods that'll help. Papaya is a great food, but not many of us eat it. I do. I love it. Anytime it's in season and I can get it, I love papaya. Prune juice. Well, the problem with prunes is, hey, 3 is really good. 4 is disaster. Bananas, well, okay. We talk green bananas will slow things down and ripe bananas will speed things up. So when do you know when is the right time? Apples, apples are really, really good for, constipation, except, you know, what type of apple has the highest level of pectin that will help you move things along, and how much of the apple am I supposed to eat? And cabbage, cabbage is great, but it has another side effect, and that is the antisocial activity of flatulence. So all these things are natural, and they're really good for you in so many ways, but it's guesswork, isn't it? Because the problem with a good thing, too much of a good thing can lead to some unpleasant surprises. Cape Aloe Cleanse takes the guesswork out of that. If you take as directed, it will clear your irregularity without causing you embarrassment or discomfort. And if you look at the natural list that's in there, these are all food-derived things. These are things you can find in nature. And none of them are toxic. This is not a toxic uh, formula. In fact, it's a lot of people put it on their food. I like cayenne pepper. Uh, I've eaten aloe, Cape aloe, in salads, and senna leaf. I can't say that I've ever eaten that in a salad, or cascara sagrada bark powder. But I've had fennel, and all of those things are really nature's natural laxatives. So the combination of this is not only a mechanical, that is to say that it is a fiber issue, because some of this is fiber, but it's also nature's natural chemical response to constipation, in that it naturally and gently draws fluid into the intestines. So what we're looking at is the senna leaf and cascara tree bark. They help break down the waste a little bit further to increase motility, in other words, moving things along. And fennel seed also draws fluid and neutralizes gas, because guess what? If you're constipated for any length of time, you're also a little gassy. Cayenne pepper also draws a fluid. You don't think of it in that terms, but it does. It does a great job because the capsaicin draws fluid from the interstitium and the omentum into the intestines and increases the flow of traffic, as it were. So who can safely take it? Well, if we're looking at the young one, a toddler, and if they're eating solid foods, they can typically tolerate 1 capsule a day for no more than 6 days. Usually by the next day, you'll notice that things are moving right along. And if they start having regular bowel movements, you can stop giving it to them. But 1 capsule is plenty. If they're real tiny and real little, just kind of keep an eye on things. Preteens, that is to say 11 or 12, can tolerate the recommended dosage on the bottle, because essentially they have an adult metabolism by that age. And then senior adults can tolerate Cape Aloe formula very well. In fact, they get normal bowel rhythm in 6 to 7 days, even in the most complicated of cases. So don't be afraid to offer this to grandma and grandpa if they're having some issues. Taken as directed, our Cape Aloe Cleanse is safe and effective for the majority of people. If you do have problems, consult with a physician, or you can speak to one of our affiliate physicians, and we can certainly help out. If you got questions, and I'm sure you do, you can either go to info@sanoglobalnutrition.com or Dr. Stan at sanoglobalnutrition.com, and I would be delighted to answer any questions you might have. I look forward to hearing from you. We're going to be having many, many more of these sessions, and I look forward to sharing with you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.